Welcome to Roaming with Restless Women, real talk with wise, dynamic women leaders. I'm your host, Julie Noonan, CEO and founder of Intuitive Wisdom Coaching, and I'm living my dream life. I live and work in my RV, coaching senior women leaders as they navigate corporate politics, family drama, and personal goals to live their own dream lives. These women are restless. They are never done seeking new opportunities, learning, and creating value in the world. If you'd like to apply to be on the show, stick around to the end and I'll let you know how. Let's go. Welcome back to Roaming with Restless Women. Welcome to today's episode where we explore resilience, transformation, and the power of service. Our guest is Martha Burich, a former child psychology professor and a special education teacher who turned personal heartbreak and professional upheaval into a mission of healing and purpose. After she lost her husband of 25 years to cancer and she was forced to retire, Martha stopped drinking, wrote a book, and began helping others to do the same. She's the author of Yes, You Can Raise Happy, Responsible Children. I believe you. Available on Amazon, and a recognized parenting expert offering a 4-week Zoom course for parents seeking practical tools and real-world advice. Martha volunteers weekly at her local jail and treatment center. She leads meetings for those in addiction recovery. Her voice and perspective have recently been featured in national publications including Spotlights and AA Grapevine. Martha's story is one of loss, love, and reinvention, and we're honored to share it with you today. Welcome, Martha. I appreciate your being here.
Well, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks, Julie.
Sure. So let's start off with just tell me about your journey, where it started and where you're going from here.
Oh, what a good question. Where's my journey? Let's start from we're going to go to the very, very beginning. I was
Oh, let's do it.
Okay. I was an unwanted child. I was the third and the only girl. I had two older brothers, one 7 years older and one 2 years older. And my dad was he had been a prisoner of war of the Germans in World War II. And when he came back from the war, long before any of us were thought of, he was a changed man. And my mother had told me stories of us having no food, nothing, because my dad drank and gambled everything away. And so I was unwanted, not because my mother didn't love me, but because she thought, how am I going to feed this one? I've got two, an irresponsible husband, no money, and now I've got another one on the way. So my mother told me that I was a really, really good baby. Isn't that interesting? She said I never cried. And I think it was because I sensed, I hope I don't start to cry. I sensed from the beginning that, I don't know, she needed me. I really can't explain what. Oh goodness, you got me crying already, Julie.
Oh no, no, you do what you need to do there. It's
You
your
know what?
personal
Here's the point of
story.
that. It really doesn't matter where you come from, it's where you end up.
That's
And
right.
you've got to a lot of us have to fight more than others, and really I've been very, very fortunate. My mother was a lovely woman, and my father too. He was never mean. He was a very nice man. He just, I guess, had those he had those demons. He had those demons. But anyway, so I always felt less than. I always thought that my mother loved my brothers better. I always thought that I was second best. No matter what I did, it was never good enough. And of course, it was all in my own mind. It was all my maybe there was some external validation, but you know what? A lot of other kids would have thought, well, I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them. And in the end, it kind of did work out that way because I have a brother that my older brother, my mother would always tell me what a genius he was. Oh, your brother's a genius, blah, blah, blah. That's all I heard all the time. Your brother's a genius. Well, what am I, chopped liver?
Yeah.
So that made me work extra hard at school. And so I did really, really well in school. And I'm the really the only person in my family to graduate college and to get an advanced degree even. So that really, sibling rivalry is not always a negative. And you'll hear from a lot of elite athletes that it was because their brother was or sister was so good at something, they had to step up to the plate and become good at something too. So in
Oh
order to
yeah.
compete with other family members, they had to do something, and it actually helped them. So if your kids are always whining to you, you love her brother, you loved him better, and parents have told me, I was talking to a woman, she's like 75 on the treadmill, and she told me her 55-year-old daughter whines to her all the time that she loves her other children more. As long as you live, parents, you're going to hear this because you know what?
Yeah.
It's such a great excuse.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So
Hmm.
okay, so you started out as an unwanted child, or at least in your mind, you were unwanted.
Hmm.
And at least you sensed that stress, whether it was literally about you or it was just about the overall situation. You sense that stress, and kids do sense stress and tension in the atmosphere. We all do. It's energy. It's an energy in the air around us, and we all sense that. So you mentioned that you had your genius older brother, and that made you work harder. What else happened during your life to lead you to? I'm assuming were an alcoholic.
Yep, yep. And I drank too much, but through most of my life, I really drank on the weekends. Now, I did get kicked
Okay.
out of two colleges for drinking, but I
Oh, well,
guess
there you go.
yeah, that shaped me up. But you know what? I came back, and I remember one day I was crying to my mother. I don't know, I think I was about 18, 19, maybe 20, and I was crying. Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna be able to go back to college. Blah blah blah. And she said, "You march right back to that college, and you ask them to let you back in." Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I went back to the college. I said, please let me back in. And they said, okay, on probation, you better have good grades for the next 6 months or you're not coming back. So that's what I did. I shaped up. It helped me to grow up. It helped me to grow up. So, you know what? Never give up. Never give up and always try again. It's never the end. Life is long if you're smart, and it's never the end. So if you can't go through the door, go over it, under it, somehow you will figure out a way. Everything works out. Just don't quit. Just don't quit.
That's the only way that you are ever going to be totally unsuccessful, is if you quit,
That's right.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise you're on your way.
Exactly. And you made a really good point, Julie, and that is, you know what? It doesn't matter how things seem, it's how what we think. I mean, whether I was a burden or not, it's how I interpreted it. And I interpreted it that I was the burden, not that the situation was the burden.
Right.
It's me, me, me. And children do that a lot. So as parents, we always want to keep our eyes open that we don't somehow inadvertently make our children think that they're the problem. But also, that's kind of hard to do because as little ones, we're very self-centered and we think everything to the cause of everything.
Well, of course, and some people never grow out of that.
No, I'm a big, big baby. Oh boy.
So I think all of us are at some points.
Uh-huh.
We
Yeah.
get our feelings hurt, or something doesn't go our way, or we get, depressed, or something happens. We don't think we're good enough, and that's when you pull in your mature gene, and you say, "Wait a minute, I've been here before, and I'm still going, so we're good." So tell me about the time in your life when your husband was going through cancer.
Well, Julie, it was so quick. Diagnosis to death was 3 weeks.
That when I read that, I was just floored at how quickly, that happened for you. And so how old were you? I mean, how long had you been married?
25 years.
Wow.
And yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
it was very, very shocking. He went to the emergency ward, and between the emergency ward and going up to his room, he died. And it was liver and pancreatic cancer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, so very, very shocking. He was a healthy man, and life goes on. Life goes on. These things happen. So,
Yeah. Now, did you have children?
yes, we have one child. One child.
Mm-hmm.
He's 40 now. So yeah, and
Yeah.
he and his father were so close. Very, very, very
Oh,
close. It was very, very difficult for him.
and how old
Yes.
was he when this happened?
He was about 25.
Okay, so at least he was an adult, at
Right.
least a beginner adult.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so he didn't have to endure that trauma when he was a child.
Exactly.
That's a blessing right there.
Yeah, because his dad was a little league coach. His dad,
Oh,
coached his little league team. He was in charge of the hockey team when he played hockey. His dad was involved in his life all the time. They used to go out and play ball all the time, and they were very, very close.
oh, well, that's good to know. Okay, and so what happened after that brought you into psychology? Why were you interested in psychology?
Right. Well, from the very beginning, I remember in high school, I wanted to be the next Sigmund Freud. I was
Oh,
a
okay.
big fan in psychology. I thought, okay, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to be Sigmund Freud. So my first year in college, I learned about behavior modification. Before that, I was thinking it was all this psychotherapy stuff, but in behavior modification and Skinner, you learn how to change behavior using positive or negative reinforcement. And I thought, whoa, this stuff's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that really, really got me interested in that. So from the very beginning in college, I was a teaching assistant to one of my absolute favorite professors, Dr. David Ziff at the University of Missouri. And I learned all about his behavior modification and just ran with that. And then when I graduated, I taught child psychology for 10 years, and then I was a high school special education teacher for 16. So I've been able, I'm proud to say I've changed a lot of behavior over the years. And
Wow.
the number one thing I learned about changing behavior, connection, absolute connection. I would have some students who had very, very frustrating behaviors, and I had to figure out a way, how am I going to help this child? So the number one thing that I did is I would find a common ground or a connection. I would make sure to become a child's friend and to show an interest in them, and that always helped. I had one student, she was my absolute nemesis. Oh my goodness, she and her girlfriends, they would all plot against me every day before they came to my science class.
Oh no.
So I thought, well, she's the ringleader. I'm going to have to get her on my side. It took me about a month, but I did. And one day she would come in and have lunch with me, and she said to me, Mrs. Burich, um, a lot of the girls, we used to sit and plot against you, how we were going to disrupt class. When we were in gym class, and then
Mhm.
she would come and tell me all these things, what kids were doing and what was going on, and so she became, I guess, a source of information for me. But she, and the bottom line was, even though she seemed like a bad kid, she had a very big heart, and she really was a wonderful
Mhm.
human being. But nobody would recognize that because she was such a bully and such a meanie. So by taking the opportunity to get to know her, I think I helped us. I definitely helped us both.
Well, I wonder where she picked that up, that behavior was what was going to get her satisfaction.
Hmm.
You wonder if she was reaching out for attention from her parents or some kind of authority figure. She was obviously missing something
Right. Oh,
until she met you.
yeah. Yeah. We
Yeah.
all we all find our ways to get what we need, whether it be attention or yeah. And no matter what attention, okay, no matter whatever you give attention to increases. So if
Yes.
all you notice about someone is their negatives and you say something, well, the negatives are going to increase. So you want to always look as much as you can for good things and talk about them and mention them. Oh, I like the way you this. Oh, look how nice you are to so and so. Oh, I love it when people say hello to me. I love it when people help me, and
Mhm.
increase those good behaviors.
So you talked about speaking of teaching and being a special education teacher. You talked about being forced to retire. So tell me about that. Was it a policy at the school or just budget cuts or what was going on there?
Yeah, it was a strange, I retired a couple of years before I really wanted to, but things at the school had changed so much. And the new policy pretty much was we were not to pay attention to A and B students. They could, take care of themselves, but our job was to pull up the F and D student.
Oh, meet
So we
the
had to
test
focus all
scores.
of
Yeah.
our attention on F and D students and ignore pretty much we didn't have time anymore to help an A and B student. And I really want to encourage parents who are watching this. If your child is an A or B student or C student, they're not going to get much attention in today's school because the teacher has been mandated and told pretty much you need to get the lowest up. And that is a very, very difficult job, especially today. Since COVID, children cannot read. The children of the COVID generation did not learn to read. So now you're seeing children in fourth, fifth, sixth, and higher grades who can't read because, for 2 years, basically, education stopped.
Yeah.
And unless you were teaching at home, your children did not get what they needed. And when the mask was covering mouths, the way we learn to read is to watch lips.
Right.
You can't form a word without watching lips. How could children learn how to form letters, how to
Yeah.
form a word without being able to see? Even, at my age, sometimes I have to look at people as they talk so I can completely understand what they're saying. And so all the children were robbed of that.
Yes, they were, and to some degree or another. And the ones that got the most robbed and were the ones whose parents couldn't afford to stay home and spend time, doing all of the teacher work. Even though school was virtual, if they weren't home, to make sure that the kids were paying attention or doing their homework and stuff, I don't know how a lot of these parents were able to do it. Some that were working 2 and 3 jobs. I just don't. I can't even imagine. I feel bad for them.
This episode is sponsored by me. So as a special gift to you, our listeners, I offer a free one-on-one 15-minute breakthrough session. Bring a problem and experience how coaching works to see if it could be of value to you. Sign up for an available time on my website, intuitivewisdomcoach.com.
When did you decide to write your book?
Well, the book was written years ago.
Okay.
Anthony's 40 now. Okay, so Anthony was about 10. And
Okay.
I sold a few copies. I did it at Kinko's, made it at Kinko's. Remember?
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yes. And well, anyway, so one day, a couple of years ago, I was looking through a drawer and I found the book. In fact, I'd written 2, one for parents, one for teachers. And I thought, my goodness, I need to get this out. So I sent a copy of the manuscript to Jack Canfield, the co-author Chicken Soup for the Soul and the Success.
Yeah.
Because I had known Jack, I'd gone through his self-esteem seminars, and he said, this is a really, really good book. This needs to get out there. So he wrote the endorsement for the book. The whole back cover is Jack's endorsement. He said this book has the potential to transform the lives of families worldwide. And I know he's right, because the information in that book is what totally turned our lives around, because our son, when he was 4, he was just spoiled rotten. Did not know how to write no for an answer because we didn't know how to give no for an answer. I would say no and then he'd push and I'd give in. So let me give you my first tip, parents, everybody. If you're going to say no, mean it. So if no is going to come out of your mouth, think long and hard, because if, let's say, the child cries for 2 hours, is it still going to be no in 2 hours? And so you're going to have to really, and if you're in the same position I was, your child's not used to hearing no. So you're going to hear crying and screaming and tantrum for 2 hours the first time because they don't believe you. And their little minds are like, what? Something's not right here.
Right.
And really, they won't know what to do. You'll actually, like, their little brain, they won't be able to figure it out. So it's going to take a few times. And so you have to, if you're going to say no to a child or a person, you better mean it. Don't change it, because that's what caused the misery in our family. I remember my mother-in-law one time told me, Anthony'd be a nice child if he'd just take no for an answer. Yeah. I got the information I needed to help him, and we had him turned around in about a month. That's why my parenting classes are just a month. We're going to get control of those worst behaviors and turn the child into a cooperative, helpful member of the family, not their own little me, 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 me. So yes, and that is exactly what happened. So I wrote down everything I learned, put it in 60 pages in this book. That's just, here's what you do. Here's, if the child won't cooperate in the grocery store, here's what you do. Takes their seatbelt off in the car, here's what you do. Just boom, 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 how to make sure you have a good marriage, even with little ones around. How to increase their self-esteem, how to make a smart child, what to do so your child learns to read and enjoys learning. So, it's just a real quick read. You keep it in your diaper bag, your purse, your car, and it's all the information that really helped, turned our family around and made it so much more pleasant.
Sure. Give me a couple more of those tips.
Well, let's use the grocery store for an example.
Yeah.
So beforehand, before you take a child anywhere, prepare them. Say, we're going here. Here's what I expect from you. Can you do that? And then the child, of course, say yes. And then you say, are you willing to do that? Can and willing are two different things.
Yes.
So then you say, look, at the grocery store, I need you to walk by me. If I can't see you, that's a problem. You can't see me, we have a problem. And if that happens, you're going to sit in the cart. Do you understand? Oh, yes, of course, of course. All right, you go to the grocery store. Next thing you know, you can't see the child because the grocery store is what? It's Disneyland.
Oh, for sure.
It's Disneyland for me. I love it. I love the grocery store. Anyway, so the child runs off. They're looking at whatever. So you get the child. You say, I see you decided to sit in the cart. Boom. Put him in the cart. Don't be mean about it. Okay. And the child's going to cry and whine. Oh, I'll be better about it. Yeah, next time. Okay. So then immediately, where are the bananas? I need help. Where's that spaghetti? Where's your favorite spaghetti? Hold these apples. Do this, do that. Keep them busy. Keep them looking for something. What's that person doing over there? What was that a mouse that went under the shelf? Just
Now
keep them
that would be
busy.
fun.
Especially, yeah, I know, especially if they're having a tantrum down on the ground and you go, oh, is that a mouse? Is that a
Oh
mouse
my
by your head?
gosh. Yeah.
Anything to do, is that
Distraction
Barney?
works wonders when
Yeah,
they're little.
right,
I
right, exactly.
have a
So anyway,
brand
so you just,
new 5-month-old grandson.
oh,
And
congratulations.
so I'm trying to not be the bossy grandma. Like I was the bossy mom. I was pretty bossy. Um, and so it's really funny when my daughter, who is the one that had the baby, when she says to me, "We're doing gentle parenting." I'm like, "What is that?" You have to tell me, literally, tell me your rules because I want to follow her rules. If I see something that I think is counterproductive or is confusing to me, I will talk about it. But I am very, very, very cognizant of not messing up what they're establishing with my grandson.
That's nice.
Um, I'm sure I'm going to screw up at some point, but so far so good. So far so good. They're not unreasonable. They make total sense. I think, and they are very consistent, which is another thing that I really think what you're saying is absolutely true. If you cave every time, which I did quite a bit, I was lucky I didn't have horrible children. I had great children, but I did cave quite a bit, and I saw the result of that. Like it also dilutes trust because if you don't do what you say you're going to do, how can they trust that you're going to say what you're going to do
Oh,
and
so
you're going to do
important.
it? I mean, it just is, yeah, it confuses, yeah, and it dilutes trust. So I'm glad that one's in your book for sure. Well, we're getting close on time, so I have one question for you, and then I have three that I end all of the sessions with. My first question for you is, do you have anything that you think is kind of your number one wise words that you can share with women who are younger than we are?
That's a really good question. You know what? One day at a time. Whatever you did yesterday, mistakes you made, blah, 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 it's all going to work out. If you did something, apologize for it, make restitution, whatever it is you need to do, it's all going to work out. Just worry about what you can do today. Don't get yourself all overwhelmed about everything. Life is long.
Mm.
So, you know what? Prioritize, decide what absolutely must be done, and then just do, if you do what you need to do today, tomorrow will take care of itself. Just do your best today. It's all going to work out.
Thank you. I needed to hear that today. I have a mountain of things I want to get done this week, and I'm already putting pressure on myself. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. So here's my first of three final questions for you. If you can close your eyes.
You want me to close them now? Fine.
Yep. In in your mind, describe what you see when I say wise woman.
Oh, I see myself.
Oh, very good. You can open your eyes. Tell me about that.
Well, you know what? You don't live as long as I have and not gain some wisdom.
Yeah.
And the first wisdom is it's life's not about you, Martha. You know what? You have to help others. So you keep your eyes open and listen. Just listen.
Mhm. Listen, just listen. I love that. So the second question that I have for you is, where do you like to roam, Martha?
Where do I like to roam? That's it. I love to walk the dogs on our backcountry roads. So I like to roam our
Mm.
backcountry roads. And in fact, turtles cross there. And one time my son saw a turtle who had unfortunately been run over by a car. So
Oh,
he got a sign that said turtle crossing and put it up on the tree there. So,
oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Those little points of remembrances are beautiful. And the final question is, what makes you restless in a good way?
oh, it makes me restless in a good way. Oh, goodness. Well, that is a really hard, is that a hard question? You know what? Now I'll go back and what makes me restless in a good way is, oh, I need to get this done.
Yeah.
So I guess that's partly what makes me restless in a good way.
Mhm.
I need to, how can I help others? I think that's the restless in a good way. How can I help others where it's not going to drain me, but it's going to
Mhm.
be beneficial? So
Absolutely. An empty tank can't fill another empty tank,
that's for
right?
sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've learned a lot about self-care and making sure we're at our top
Hmm.
performance level before we
Yeah,
try to help other people.
exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it, Martha. You are amazing. And I want to encourage all of our listeners to take a look at Martha's book, take a look at some of her classes. Where can we find your classes?
It should be up on the website, marthaburichwins.com.
Okay, and I see you've got your QR codes there. So feel free to take a look at her information and take advantage of her wisdom. She's got a lot of it to give. Thank you so much, Martha, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Julie. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Julie Noonan here. Thank you so much for listening to Roaming with Restless Women. If you're a successful senior woman leader who would like to be on this program, please visit podcast.intuitivewisdomcoach.com. If you enjoyed this interview, please share this episode on social media and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Your thumbs ups and reviews go a long way.